Howdy, you action figure enthusiasts out there. JC here with another TNI News video. Now, today's video is going to focus primarily on Marvel Legends stuff, but before we hop into all that, I wanted to just update you guys on a story I talked about in my last news video the other day, and it's in regards to NECA Toys and their final 2 San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. So those reveals did come on Friday, and if you caught my last news video, you know I told you that it was going to be based on the DC versus Dark Horse 2-packs, those 2-packs that they showed off a couple years ago at Toy Fair, which were originally going to be released at regular retail, but due to red tape and licensing issues, they were not able to do that. That is the honest to God truth. They're not trying to screw you. I've seen people saying that online and stuff. You know, this was the only way they were able to do it. And frankly, it took them, several years to be able to get it done. And my guess is if they didn't get them out this year, they would never get them out, because once McFarlane Toys takes over doing DC collectible stuff, the more adult-oriented action figures for DC, then I seriously doubt, just because I think there's some bad blood between the NECA and McFarlane, that you would not see NECA be able to get anything out, even as con exclusive. So I think this was the final year for them to be able to really do it, and that's why we're seeing them now. Now, only 2 of the sets, there's actually 4 sets, and so 2 are being released as San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, and while it hasn't been officially announced, it looks like they should be going, the remaining 2 will be released probably at New York Comic-Con. Again, that's not officially confirmed, but that is the most likelihood of seeing where we'll see those 2 final sets. So the 2 that were revealed, and I told you I thought this is what they were going to be, and they were, is the Superman versus the Alien figure set. And really cool Superman's got the soft goods cape, has a really cool head sculpt with the curl and everything. They've done Superman, they did the Muhammad Ali and Superman figure and such, and they've done movie, Christopher Reeve Superman. But this is our really full, true-on comic book-based Superman figure that we've gotten from NECA. It is 7-inch scale. It's got 2 different head sculpts. It's got heat vision, a long heat vision, and a short heat vision that you can attach to the figure's eyes, which are really cool. And then it also has an alternate pair of flying hands. And then the alien figure stands about 8 inches tall. And then the second set that they're doing is the Batman, the armored Batman versus the Predator figure. So that one is cool. That's probably, out of the 3 that I saw, I don't know what the 4th set, and I've heard some of you say, I saw some of your comments in the last video saying, well, the 4th set's going to be Green Lantern and an alien. And I ran that by Randy, and he says they're not confirming what the 4th set is at this time. I wouldn't be surprised if it is a Green Lantern figure, but I honestly, and I'll go into a little more detail on this, would expect it to be that packed in with a Predator figure. And the reason why I say that is that because, like we're seeing here, where they're doing a Batman set with a Predator and a Superman set with an alien, they're going to want to get both an alien and a Predator out at New York Comic-Con as well. And since we know the 3rd set, the Batman, the regular Batman figure with the alien that looks like with the Joker colors, is going to be one of the sets that they offer, it makes sense that whatever the 4th set is, it's going to have a Predator figure, not an alien figure. That's not 100%. I mean, they could decide to do 2 alien figures, but my best guess is just, you can see their pattern that they do, that they're going to want to do 1 set with an alien and 1 set with a Predator, just like they're going to have 1 set with at least Batman, and a 2nd set maybe with an alternate Superman or maybe Green Lantern, I don't know. But I really expect that the 4th set is going to contain a Predator figure. But the 2nd set that they are doing here at San Diego is that armored Batman with the Predator figure. And this is my favorite set of the bunch that I've seen. I really like that armored Batman. And you get, he comes with a bat. Yes, Batman comes with a bat. And that is something from the comic book story that this figure is based on. So it's not like they just randomly decided to give Batman a bat. And if you don't know why, then go read the comic. It's a pretty good read, but that's why he comes with that. And then the Predator figure, he has a unmasked you know, you can take the mask off and everything, and you know, it's one of their pretty cool looking Predators. But I love that Batman figure. You know, I've got enough regular Batman figures, so I'm really digging the armor. Some of you said you didn't think it was quite comic book accurate. I think it is. I think it's pretty comic book accurate. Maybe not quite as sleek looking as it did in the comics, but you know, that's what happens when you translate a two-dimensional drawing into a three-dimensional, you know, physical action figure. But overall, I think it looks good. And again, out of the three that I saw a couple years ago at Toy Fair, this was my favorite. Now, these sets, both sets are going to cost $60 each. Again, these are going to be San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, and then they will be making a limited number of them available on their store website. Unlike the others, like the Turtles and the Terminator set, where I wouldn't be surprised at all if they find some way to release those at regular retail, I don't expect to see these DC figures released at regular retail. Again, that's not confirmed. That's not 100%. But going back to the whole McFarlane's taking things over in 2020, I really wouldn't count on seeing these at regular retail down the road in some shape or form. Again, not 100% confirmed, and I could be wrong on that, but that's just my feeling is if you want to get these, you're going to have to get them at the con or try and grab them off the NECA website after the convention, or wait until they end up on eBay or whatever and get them secondhand, which means you'll be paying more. But the retail price on these is $60 each, and if you want details on how you can get it on the NECA website, I will put a link to that, you know, where they go over all the details of how they'll be selling these things. Okay, now moving on to Marvel Legends. So first thing, as again, if you caught my news video the other day, I told you that this weekend we were going to be seeing the new X-Force wave go up for pre-order, where we would also be getting new official images and everything. So that did happen yesterday. It actually happened a little sooner than it was supposed to. Some e-tailer leaked them out earlier in the afternoon. They really weren't supposed to go up until midnight, but they are out there. They are up for pre-order. You can go to places like Big Bad Toy Store and pre-order this wave now. Megalopolis Toys also has it up for pre-order, and we've got the new images. So the one we had not seen, the one figure in this wave we had not seen, though we knew pretty much what it was going to be, was X-Force Wolverine. So we're getting this is our first look at that figure, and it does seem to incorporate the newer Wolverine mold that we've been seeing, you know, with the modifications for the X-Force outfit. He's got the red eyes, which look good. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the chrome-colored claws like the original X-Force Wolverine they did. The one they did is, I think it was San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. That would have been nice. I like those chrome claws that they used on that original one. But otherwise, this is a pretty solid-looking figure. Other figures in the wave, just to recap, we're getting that Cannonball figure, which I know a lot of you are not terribly happy with because it does not have alternate legs, and I kind of share your thoughts on that. Well, you know, it doesn't, you know, if you want to have him just in this one pose where it looks like he's, you know, about to take off, then, you know, it's cool. But I feel like that's the only pose that you can put him in, because otherwise, you know, why else would he be standing there with, you know, Fire Blast underneath him? So, you know, and he's not just going to be standing there normal, you know, or, you know, fighting, you know, when he's blasting like that, it means he's about to go straight up into the air. So, you know, I feel like, you know, this pose is really all you can do with this figure. So I'm very disappointed in that they, you know, again, this should have been something. I know the Wendigo's the Build-A-Figure, but I really feel like, you know, either made this one the Build-A-Figure and given us alternate legs, or wait and release this figure in a future X-Men line where you could do it as the Build-A-Figure, you know, and give us the extra legs. Some of you seem to think that we'll get another Cannonball down the road with legs. I don't know. I don't know if Cannonball is really that popular, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. But as it is, this one does not have the legs. And then we're also getting Mr. Sinister. Now, this to me is probably the best figure in this wave. Definitely it looked cool at Toy Fair when I saw it, and this one looks cool. It does not have any accessories other than the Wendigo piece. It comes with an arm. The Cannonball comes with a leg. And then Boom Boom is the other figure I think is pretty good. That one comes with two head sculpts, kind of like the Jubilee figure, where we get one where she's blowing the bubble gum. Like Jubilee, Boom Boom always was featured, at least in those early days, with the bubble gum blowing the bubbles. So that's you get the two head sculpts, and then you get the boom effect. You know, she would make little bombs, basically fire bombs, and so they give you a translucent hand with that effect in it, and then a second effect piece with an extra regular hand. So, you know, that's pretty cool. And then with her, she also comes with a leg for the Wendigo. We're getting Nightcrawler, which looks pretty good. It's a nice looking figure, but I'm just not convinced it's better than my Toy Biz one that I have, which, you know, in fact, pull it out of the case here. So this figure is, even by today's standards, I think is, you know, one of the best Marvel Legend figures that has been made, and you know, for especially for this character, it's super articulated. You've got even the fingers are articulated, and this is my cat, everybody. She wanted to get in on camera, but and you've got the bendy wire on the tail. This new version does not have bendy wire. I understand safety regulations have changed and gotten more strict over the years, but you know, the Hasbro one doesn't. I don't blame them, but it doesn't. So you get the bendy wire tail, you've got the articulated toes, you know, and just the body. I mean, a lot of the older Toy Biz ones, just the bodies are misproportioned and stuff, just because of the technology back then. But this one, you know, it looks good. So while this new one, and if you don't have this one, then, you know, I think you definitely want to pick up the new one. But if you have the Toy Biz one, I'm just not really sure if this new figure is good enough to replace it. I'll do a comparison video when it comes out and let you know what I think. But I really kind of feel like this is going to remain on my shelf, not the new one. Then we're getting, the other figure we're getting is Guardian. Alpha Flight, I don't really know why Guardian is being included in X-Force Wave, other than I guess they really didn't have any other place to put him. And so, Guardian, I think this is a good looking figure, and I would certainly love to see the Alpha Flight team rounded out. But until we see some of the more obscure characters, I mean, we've gotten Guardian before in the Marvel Legend line. Hasbro did a Guardian before. It wasn't that great of a figure, so this one I expect is going to be better, but we've gotten Guardian before. So, and you know, we've got Sasquatch, we've got Puck, but you know, I want to see some of the more obscure characters from Alpha Flight, like a box figure. When we see that, and you know, and North Star, Aurora, you know, those characters, you know, even Snowbird. I mean, we got the little mini Snowbird, but you know, those characters, you know, that's when I'll get more excited about a Guardian figure, because then I'll know that Hasbro will actually be giving us the original Alpha Flight team members. They probably will. You know, they've been kind of rounding out these teams. And in fact, you know, with the original X-Force here with Boom Boom and Cannonball, you know, we really only need Feral and Thunderbird to round out the original Rob Liefeld X-Force team. So we're really only 2 figures away from that. And I've been talking to people online about this, and you know, if they could easily take that Feral figure and turn her into Wolfsbane. In fact, I forgot when I was first thinking about this, I forgot that it was actually Feral, not Wolfsbane, on X-Force. Very similar characters and everything. And Wolfsbane obviously was originally part of the New Mutants and then left the team when they became X-Force, and Feral joined the team. But it could easily take that figure, use that same figure, make some slight modifications to it, and give us a 90s X-Factor Wolfsbane. She was one of the founding members on there. And same thing with Thunderbird. You could take Thunderbird and give us the original Thunderbird, which would help us round out the X-Men team from the Giant Size X-Men #1, where Wolverine and the group first joined the team. You know, for that we just need Thunderbird, and well, we need Storm, and we've got a Storm coming up, and we don't entirely know which Storm it's going to be. Probably Jim Lee, but it could be first appearance Storm, who knows. And so but you know, we need probably a new updated Banshee, and they could take a Thunderbird and make it for both teams essentially with slight modifications. So I don't know, but anyway, I'm getting way off track here. So, and then finally the Build-A-Figure is the Wendigo, which I think this image of the Wendigo looks much better than the original images that we saw for this figure. However, I'm still not super excited about it. It seems to use a lot of the pieces of the Sasquatch Build-A-Figure that they did, and really doesn't look like the original Wendigo that I'm familiar with. I know it looks like some of the more modern versions that we've seen in the comics of the character, but I would have, if we're going to get Wendigo, which is a pretty obscure character to begin with, I'd rather have his look that we had, like, you know, in the Hulk comic with the first appearance of Wolverine and stuff, something along those lines. But so I'm not super excited for the Wendigo, but you know, it definitely, I do think it looks better here than what we saw originally. Now again, this wave is up for pre-order, and places are listing it with an August release date. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually start seeing it in July timeframe at places, but again, right now it's being listed with an August release date. And next weekend's Marvel Legend reveal, I think you're going to find even more exciting than this week, so stay tuned for that. I'll be talking more about that later in the week. Okay, now on to what I'm calling the rumor portion of this video. So you may have noticed floating around on the internet this past week or so a list of Marvel Legend figures. There's actually two different lists. There is a more general list where it doesn't really get into the specifics of the actual characters that the figures will be based on. And then there is a list that has a few more specifics to it than the previous list. So, as I always say with these things, until Hasbro actually officially confirms these, I would consider all of this rumor. However, I will tell you that I've been doing some checking into these lists, and the first list, which is more general, I feel very confident about, are figures that are actually going to be released. It's definitely not just something that's made up by somebody. Now, sometimes things can change, and or things get canceled, but I feel very confident in the more general list. Now, the more specific one, I think has a fair chance of being legit, but I don't feel quite as confident at this point in the more specific one. I guess enough that I'm going to tell you about it, but again, I don't feel quite as confident at this point. I haven't been able, in my own checkings, I don't just take when I see something pop up on the internet like this, I don't just take it for verbatim that it's going to be true. I actually check with sources and things. Hasbro doesn't normally comment on this kind of thing, but there are other avenues that you can go through to, find out whether it at least seems like it's legit or not. So, again, the second one possibly is going to be true, but I just at this time I can't sit here and tell you for me personally that I'm as confident in that list as I am in the first list. So let's go over the list. Let's go over the more general list first, and then we'll go over. It's basically, as far as the two lists, it's basically the same stuff. It's just like I said, the second list has more specifics about what we can expect. So let's go down the general list, and then I'll comment on what possibly these could be based on the second list. Okay, so first of all, we've got a new Venom figure coming, and that apparently is supposed to be an anti-agent Venom figure. That again, I really don't know. I guess a repaint of the Walgreens exclusive in white colors, white and black colors. I don't know, but that's what the second list seems to indicate. Variant Punisher figure in camo colors is what the second list has indicated this is going to be. So I really don't know. I was thinking that we would get the Walgreens Punisher that had the white boots and everything, but only painted black, maybe even with an added trench coat. That's kind of a variant Punisher they often like to do, is give him the black boots and black gloves as opposed to white. But apparently, I guess maybe he's going to have camo, some kind of camo outfit on or something. So again. That's from the second list, but there you go. Then we're getting a variant War Machine, and according to the second list, this is going to be actually another Punisher figure, but the Punisher War Machine figure, or in the comics, he for a little while was wearing the War Machine armor, painted his skull on it and stuff, and so I guess that's what this figure is going to be based on. Now, other things listed is a variant Iron Man figure. I really have no idea what this could be. I don't. Again, it's being a variant would indicate that it's probably some kind of repaint, or with maybe some retooling. So I have no idea of what figure it would be a repaint of. We haven't really gotten any recent Iron Man figures, so I don't know. I really don't have any guesses on that. Deathlock, a variant Deathlock. I'm guessing that's going to be Deathlock in his X-Force colors. We just got Wolverine and we've gotten Deadpool, so X-Force was part of with the black and gray outfit. So that's my guess on that. And then there's a Giant Man figure coming, listed as a deluxe figure. Now this I'm thinking is you may recall they did an Ant-Man, or I think it was, or Giant Man, I should say, as a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. This was a comic book based version, and so I wouldn't be surprised if that's just a re-release of that now, just at regular retail. Maybe with some slight modifications, I don't know, but that's my best guess on that. Now there's an X-Men Legend 2-pack. Now going back to that second list, this is being indicated that it will be a 2-pack featuring Polaris and Havoc. Don't know which outfits, but since we've just gotten recently Havoc and Polaris and regular comic book based outfits, my guess is this is going to be them in their X Factor, their 90s X Factor outfits to go along with the likes of Forge and the others that they've done in the 90s X-Force, Multiple Man and such. So again, we don't know if in fact it is, because the first list only says X-Men 2-pack, whereas the second list says Havoc and Polaris. So we'll have to wait and see if it is in fact Havoc and Polaris, and then we'll have to wait and see if it's the X Factor versions. But if it is Havoc and Polaris, then I think it's a pretty good bet it will be the X Factor versions. Then there's an X-Men Legends 3-pack that's listed on the initial list, and then the second list breaks it down even more and tells us it's going to have Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Wolverine. So this is causing all kinds of speculation. We just, hopefully it's not going to be like a Dark Phoenix set. I'm tired of Dark Phoenix or Phoenix figures, period. We've got enough Jean Grey Phoenix figures. So because of the 3, I really don't know where they'd be going. We've already got the Jim Lee versions, though, a new updated. I made a joke the other day on social media because I finally broke down and bought the original Jean Grey 90s style Jean Grey figure because I missed out on it originally, and it goes for a pretty hefty price on the secondary market nowadays. But because it was going to be the only character I didn't have in the Jim Lee style outfit and such, I decided to go on and get it. And I made a joke on social media saying, now that I've bought it, Hasbro will give us a new one. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if it's maybe updated versions. Granted, we've gotten Jim Lee Cyclops, but they could give us Jim Lee Cyclops with the leather jacket, or they could give us Jim Lee Cyclops without the mask on, or they could do variants of that pretty easily. Same thing with Wolverine. They could give us variants of that with his pulled down mask or something along those lines. So it's probably a good bet that that's what this, if in fact it is those 3 characters, that's what this set will be. And then the final 2 that were on the original list are role-play items, a War Machine helmet, which I think is just going to be a repaint of the Iron Man helmet, and then Captain America's shield, which again, probably maybe battle damaged or something. Originally I was thinking maybe they're going to give us a broken shield, but I doubt it, just because I think there would be safety regulations involved giving us a jagged edge shield and such. But it could be, battle damage with, markings, blast marks on it and stuff. So I kind of feel like that's what that will be. Keep in mind, until Hasbro officially confirms these are rumored. These aren't 100% confirmed. I do think the figures in the general list are pretty likely. It's possible something could get canceled. When these will see release, it's hard to say. Now, I've heard with some of these that we'll see them in a November timeframe. So the ones that are more specific seem to be look like we could see around November. And probably most of the stuff will be out by the end of the year, but some of this might actually go into 2020, so we'll have to wait and see. And I'm sure a lot of this will be revealed at San Diego Comic-Con in July, so we probably, and some of this will maybe get revealed. We get the weekly Marvel Legend reveal. It's not, none of this stuff, I can tell you, none of this stuff is going to be revealed next week, but between now and San Diego, we could see some of this stuff revealed then. So there you go. Okay, so there you have it. That's what I have for you guys today, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on everything I've talked about. For Marvel Legends, what are you excited about? What do you think? What do you think that Iron Man figure could be? That one's the most baffling to me, because I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be comic book based. Most of these, if not all of them, should be fan channel exclusives, which means they're going to be released online, and those generally seem to be comic book based figures. So I'm pretty sure all of these are comic book based, but for Iron Man, I just don't know. For me personally, what I'd like to see is the red and silver Centurion armor. Toy Biz did a version back in the day, which is actually a pretty cool figure, but I'd love to see a modern version one. That's one of my favorite Iron Man armors. So, let me know in the comments section below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you're so inclined. Follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you later.